Samson was not always loud. Before the battles, before the gates torn from their hinges, before men whispered his name like thunder, there was silence. A quiet boy walking under the sun, carrying a secret he didn't fully understand. He was chosen, not because he was perfect, but because he was set apart. His strength didn't come from his arms. It came from a promise. One he carried in his hair, in his spirit. In his obedience. And for a while, Samson listened. When the lion came roaring from the shadows, Samson didn't shout. He didn't run. He stood still, then moved with a quiet, terrifying certainty. The spirit filled him, and with his bare hands, he tore the beast apart, not for glory, not for applause, just because he could not walk away from what he was called to face. But strength, when it isn't guarded, begins to whisper lies. You are unstoppable. You are above the rules. You don't need to listen anymore. And slowly, Samson started listening to the wrong voice. He still fought. Still won. Still broke chains like threads. But inside, something was changing. The quiet courage that once grounded him was fading, replaced by pride, desire, and a dangerous confidence in himself. Then came Delilah. She didn't defeat him with force. She didn't need to, she asked, softly. Repeatedly. Patiently, where does your strength come from? And Samson laughed it off at first, but every time he stayed, every time he played along, every time he ignored the warning in his spirit, he moved closer to the edge. Until one night, tired of the game. Tired of the questions. Tired of holding the secret, he gave it away, not because he was weak, but because he forgot why he was strong. When his hair was cut, the silence returned. But this time, it wasn't peaceful, it was empty, the strength was gone. The presence had left. And for the first time in his life, Samson stood up. And could not stand at all. Captured. Blinded. Broken, the man who once shook nations was reduced to grinding grain in the dark, and yet, in that darkness, something returned, not his strength, not yet, but his understanding. For the first time, Samson was quiet again, not with confidence, but with humility. Not with power, but with surrender. And slowly, his hair began to grow, so did his faith. On the final day, standing between two pillars, Samson didn't roar, he prayed, a simple prayer. A broken man asking for one last moment, not for revenge, but for purpose, and God answered. His strength came back, not as a gift of pride, but as an act of mercy. And with one final push, Samson brought the temple down, not as the strongest man who ever lived, but as a man who finally understood where his strength truly came from. Sometimes, the greatest strength isn't in how hard you can fight, but in how deeply you can return. After you've fallen.